Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flix Show. My name is Chris Wong. I hope you got to see my reaction I just put out a few hours ago. It's called Zack Snyder's A Late Show Reaction. Hashtag Suck It Warner Brothers, because it is hilarious. It's awesome. It's great to see Stephen Colbert and Zack Snyder say, "Suck it, Warner Brothers." That's incredible. But check it out. It's hilarious. And go online and go hashtag Suck it Warner Bros. Or Warner Brothers. I don't know how you want to spell it. Either of those two. It's fine. All right. Well, let's get into the topics for the day. The first topic I'm going to cover is about MGM. Finally sold to Amazon for $8.45 billion in blockbuster deal. MGM Holdings, whose storied Hollywood studio boasts one of the largest film and TV libraries, has been sold nearly a decade after bankruptcy, now over to Amazon, and Amazon will be able to do whatever he wants to do with that. In fact, even Jeff Bezos kind of left. But Amazon looks like they've got a lot. They're going right in. I mean, they're already in the entertainment business, but they're going to head right into more of the entertainment business. I mean, they've got things like James Bond, Rocky, RoboCop, Stargate, lots and lots of shows and movies, lots of things to cover. They did explicitly say that, don't worry, because James Bond is still coming out in theaters. Don't worry about that. That has not, they're not taking that away. And I think this is more Amazon not only putting more into your streaming service, of course, that's, like 80% of what they want, but they still want to tap into the cinematics, right? They want to tap into the cinemas, to the silver screen, pretty much, and they want to get into that. So this is their way to get into that, and so that's a big blockbuster deal. So that's one of the biggest news that we have today. All right, moving right along. There's a lot to cover. There's a new Evil Dead movie called Evil Dead Rise, and it's coming to HBO Max. Now, I know they threw Bruce Campbell on there, but apparently Bruce Campbell and Sam Raimi are only producing the upcoming HBO Max original movie, Evil Dead Rise, and Ash Williams won't be back, so you won't see that. In fact, it's something else entirely. Lee Cronin will direct Evil Dead Rise, which takes the horror outside of the woods and into the city. Alyssa Sutherland from Vikings and Lily Sullivan have also signed on to star in the film as a pair of estranged sisters. Regardless of their issues with each other, the sisters will be menaced by the rise of flesh-possessing demons. The sisters will also face the most nightmarish version of family imaginable. Additionally, Deadline reports states that Evil Dead Rise will not get a domestic theatrical release. However, it may come to theaters in countries without HBO Max. So I'm not sure what this means. Because Sam Raimi says, "I'm thrilled to bring Evil Dead back to its original home at New Line 40 years after the release of the first film." And they just talk about the country's history, but I don't know if this is a sequel in any case. Is it a sequel to the other Evil Dead movie? Or is this something else entirely? It's interesting. So, but it says announced sequel. Okay, so it's a previous announced sequel, Evil Dead Rise, is moving forward. So it is a sequel to the original Evil Dead. I don't know if it's the original Evil Dead as the darker Evil Dead, or the one from Bruce Campbell time. I think it's the other one. I think it's the one that was the one that recently came out, that movie. I'm thinking it's the sequel to that, but I could be wrong. But that's kind of cool to see the Evil Dead franchise continue to grow. Okay, Aaron Couch from I think it's Hollywood Reporter, I believe. Hollywood Reporter said that Roland Emmerich's Moonfall hits theaters February 4th, 2022. I didn't even know there was another movie. But he's making another disaster movie. The logline is, in Moonfall, a mysterious force knocks the moon from its orbit around Earth and sends it hurtling on a collision course with life as we know it. That's why it's called Moonfall. Eric Goldman right down below. The movie begs for "Are you telling me this is some kind of Moonfall" line? He said the title. He said the title of the movie in the movie, right? So yeah, I'm quite. I want to see this. I love disaster movies. Roland Emmerich, Independence Day, yeah, resurgence wasn't that great. But, I enjoyed 2012, and, I like disaster movies. And so another disaster movie which is, really is probably, I don't know, possible. I'm sure Neil deGrasse Tyson has a lot of things to say about this. But it's going to be an enjoyable time in the movies. So we'll be looking forward to this February 4th, 2022, Moonfall. It almost sounds James Bond-ish, but it's not. All right. Now we talked about a little about Sucker Punch. Released a Sucker Punch, or actually released a Snyder Punch. Well, Jamie Chung is the next cast member who is asking for it as well. So she said, "Let's go, Snyder Cut, Sucker Punch," and that's great. So that is kind of growing. By the way, I've clearly put these topics out of order. This was supposed to follow by Zack Snyder stuff, but that's okay. Jamie Chung says, "Let's go! Snyder Cut, Sucker Punch." All right. Now, one of the biggest stories today is that, from the Wrap, Aaron Taylor Johnson has nabbed the lead role as Kraven the Hunter in Sony's Marvel film. So not only was he Quicksilver from before, he is now going to go into another Marvel film, this time as the villain, Kraven the Hunter. So this is pretty big. Aaron Taylor Johnson nabbed the role. The studio also locked in the actor for multiple pictures as the iconic Spider-Man villain, J.C. Chandor, is directing Kraven the Hunter. The project is being billed as the next chapter of Sony's universe of Marvel licensed characters. Art Markham and Matt Holloway and Richard Wenk wrote the screenplay, while Avi Arad and Matt Tomac are producing. Born into Russian aristocracy, Sergei Kravenov, a.k.a. Kraven the Hunter, is an obsessive big game hunter who was introduced as Spider-Man villain in The Amazing Spider-Man and created by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. As seen in the original comics, Kravenov began his career using the typical tools of the hunter, but over time, he developed a preference to take down large animals with his bare hands. After meeting a voodoo witch doctor named Calypso, Kravenov took her herbal potion, which enhances physical powers, give him the strength, speed, and senses to match a jungle cat. The potion also extends his life, keeping his health and vitality for years to come. So, over the years, Kraven was established as one of Spider-Man's most formidable enemies. Among other things, he was part of the original Sinister Six and was the centerpiece of the groundbreaking 1987 storyline, Kraven's Last Hunt. Kraven the Hunter will be released on January 13, 2023. Well, I'm actually happy for him. Hopefully he has this time, a longer role within the Marvel Universe and not just be like a one-off and just dies, gets shot by Ultron. But yeah, he's not going to get, not in this one. But hopefully it leads to more, and obviously it does lead to more, multiple pictures with Kraven the Hunter. So hopefully this is successful enough to move forward, and he can join the Sinister Six, which they're obviously leading up to Sinister Six. So that's really cool. Aaron Taylor Johnson, wow, that's pretty cool. Just to see him go from Kick-Ass to Quicksilver to Kraven the Hunter. You guys should really check out Outlaw King on Netflix. Outlaw King, he's a co-star in that. He's really badass in Outlaw King. 2 swords, he's charging into the castle, he's killing people left and right in the war. He's a badass. He's awesome. I loved him. He's probably, I actually enjoyed him more than Chris Pine in Outlaw King, and Chris Pine was the Outlaw King. So it's kind of interesting to see that. So yeah, Aaron Taylor Johnson, I'm all for this. This is really cool. All right, well, let's move forward. Moving on. So, that yesterday where we had all the hashtags came back, the Snyder Cut, Us United, Zack Snyder's Justice League? Well, apparently it's all because HBO Max is now going to be in Latin America as of June 29th. HBO Max. They put a huge little trailer here, and yes, I froze it right at the Max Original Justice League Snyder Cut, so you can see that it's within, being promoted with it, and that's why all these hashtags are back, because HBO Max is back. Well, not back, but HBO Max has now arrived in Brazil, Latin America, June 29th, so people can enjoy HBO Max now. So that's why all that celebration, if you know, just in case you didn't see that. Speaking of Netflix and Zack Snyder now, or Zack Snyder, speaking of Netflix, Netflix put this out. You Bet Army of the Dead is the #1 film on Netflix worldwide. It had a small little trailer. First weekend of release. They've announced it. They've announced something that Warner Brothers, Warner Media, HBO Max has failed to do with Zack Snyder's Justice League. They are hiding their numbers still yet. They still don't. Yeah. But Netflix is like, nah. It's the #1 film on Netflix worldwide. Preach, yo. First weekend of release. They're absolutely proud of Zack Snyder. They're proud of Army of the Dead, and they're proud and excited to have more of the franchise coming out. So it's really cool to see a studio do that with Zack Snyder in mind. In fact, Netflix geeked on Netflix. They also announced this: Battle of the Dead, Save the Living, Army of the Dead, Viva Las Vengeance, an all-new immersive VR experience is coming this summer. And don't want to get copyright strike. So, yeah, there's some cool. This is the visuals, I guess. You're going to be in a giant truck and shooting a taco truck. That's hilarious. And you put on these, and they put on these headsets. So here's the players. They don't actually come in here. This is the VR part. You can put it on. You could probably put it on anywhere, I think. You got the headsets, and then you start shooting at it. That's really cool. That's really cool. Army of the Dead, Lost Vengeance, immersive VR experience coming this summer. And then Zack Snyder got to talk to Joshua Horowitz on the Happy, Sad, Confused podcast. And he dropped a bunch of things that were really interesting, like this one, where Zack Snyder says they initially considered making Man of Steel part of the Nolan universe, really ending with Joseph Gordon-Levitt as Batman. So that would have happened. That would have actually happened. It was not 100% off the table, but he felt that because the Nolan trilogy, it just kind of closes up nicely as a trilogy. He didn't want to mess with it. He just wanted, let's not do that. So that's why they went on for it. But at one time, there was a conversation that Joseph Gordon-Levitt would have been Batman in that universe, and Man of Steel would have been in the same universe as the Nolan trilogy. So that was interesting. Also on the same podcast, Zack Snyder said who would have been Batman if Ben Affleck had refused the role of Bruce Wayne Batman versus Superman, because he was kind of like not quite sure yet. He was, at that point. But it would have been this person, I think Matthias Schoenaerts. I was talking to him a lot. He never wore the suit, but he made a lot of models with him. So this dude right here, I have no idea who he is. I didn't look him up, but apparently he would have been the Ben Affleck Batman if Ben Affleck wasn't available or didn't want to do it. So that would have been interesting as well. And then about Dark Knight Returns, for years Zack Snyder has been talking about how he would love to adapt Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns. During the Happy, Sad, Confused podcast, he calls it his white whale. He says he would make it a frame-accurate adaptation, casting new Batman and Superman. So I talk a little bit more about this. In fact, I even play the little clip for that on the next Genre Etc. video that's probably going to come out in the morning. And then Zack says he's almost in final stages of announcing a big original project with Netflix, which is also his current dream project. And I'm wondering what that is. What is that current dream project? What is that big universe, big original project that he's going to do with Netflix? It's not Army of the Dead, because he even mentions, like, on a slight, like, he says, yeah, because I'm working on Army of the Dead too. I mean, I wish I could be working. He like kind of he kind of spilled it, but we all know #1 Netflix film, that thing's gonna get Army of the Dead 2. We're getting Bright 2, so we're definitely getting Army of the Dead 2. That's not I'm not be shocked at all. So along with the prequels and the rest of the franchise, Netflix is clearly all in on Zack Snyder stuff. And yeah, I can't wait to hear the announcement for the next original project. And I'm wondering, is it the sci-fi one that he was talking about? Maybe not. I'm actually thinking maybe not, because he talks about the sci-fi one as like a something else entirely. According to Zack Snyder, his Kurosawa inspired Seven Samurai Star Wars film never went anywhere with Lucasfilm. So now he's restructuring it for an original sci-fi epic of his own that doesn't relate to Star Wars. So that was something that he wanted to do at one point, is a Seven Samurai Star Wars story. Doesn't have any of the main characters or anything like that. It was just like its own thing. And I think it would have been freaking awesome. It would have been freaking awesome, right? I mean, can you tell, like, even instead of seven samurai, just seven Jedis, like taking out, people or something like that? That would have been pretty intense. But now, because he doesn't want to, he wants to make original IP, he doesn't want to get involved in that with Star Wars in any way, because it's kind of messed up right now. He doesn't know where he belongs in that sense. So instead of just chucking it away or waiting for, he's gonna adapt that and turn it into original sci-fi epic of his own. That's what I'm kind of saying. If it doesn't work out with Warner Brothers, just make that original Justice League and it's his own original superhero story. Make his own, like, Superman and Batman, something like that. That would be cool. I don't know if that's going to happen. I'm just saying that happened for this. So I'm wondering, hey, that could happen for the Snyderverse, the DC Snyderverse, if you will. There's so many Snyderverses right now. There's going to be a ton of Snyderverses by the end of this all, right, if it ever ends. But speaking of Star Wars, J.J. Abrams acknowledges it probably would have been better if they had approached the Star Wars sequel trilogy with a plan. And I agree. It really needed a plan. It needs some concrete plan of where it's going, and things like that, And he had a bunch of quotes in here, but I'm going to pull the last one because this is the most, it's the most interesting. Ultimately, the filmmaker said he's learned the hard way that it's better to have a plan and be willing to or able to change it than not have one at all. He said this: "You just never really know, but having a plan, I have learned in some cases the hard way, is the most critical thing, because otherwise you don't know what you're setting up. You don't know what to emphasize, because if you don't know the inevitable of the story, or just as good as your last sequence or effect or joke or whatever, but you want to be leading to something inevitable." And that's true. Because it felt like he was going somewhere with The Force Awakens. And then he dropped, that dropped. And, Rian Johnson didn't really communicate with what's happening. In the next one, Rian Johnson made up his own Last Jedi. Then Colin Trevorrow was gone. Like, they got out, and in fact, his sequels seemed pretty cool from the concept art and the story. And it just never set it up right. And so JJ came in and it kind of just wanted to appease Force Awakens fans, nostalgia fans, prequel fans, I don't know, and even the Last Jedi fans at the same time, and it's just a mishmash of stuff that didn't work. Overall, didn't work. And so, yeah, I agree. This should have been planned out from the beginning. That's what I've been saying this whole time. Like, if he had planned it out from the beginning, so this is this is 7, 8, and 9. This is where we're going to go. 9 is how we're going to end up. This is going to happen. Fill in the blanks. There's still stuff that you can, like, along the way figure out, oh, this is good and stuff. But overarching, the backbone of it, beginning to end, it needed that. It really needed that. And now it's kind of too late. It's already out. It's done, 7, 8, 9. And it's kind of hard to reflect on it now, says I should have done better. But it's like, it's too late. It's really too late. So, unfortunately, it could have been a great trilogy, but, with fans being so divided about it, and knowing now that it is really apparent that you had no clue how to put it together and everything like that. And clearly, there was just no plan. So hopefully, the next trilogy will have a better plan. I think there's going to be a next trilogy. There's probably have a better plan. A plan that is, it can be different directors, sure, but one vision, please. Like an overarching vision, meaning that this is what's going to happen in the beginning. This is what's expected for these characters to happen all the way to the end. and, fill in the blanks with your own creativity. But keep it to the plan. Keep it to the plan. So, yeah, there it is. J.J. Abrams just acknowledged that. And that's probably why he doesn't want to be part of these bigger things right now. He wants to do original stuff. I'm sure he'll come back and do big IPs once again. He's still delving into it, but as a producer role. But, yeah, we'll see what happens. With J.J. later on. All right, let's get to the members' comments and questions. Manu Delpec. This is a photo of Wahlberg with a Sully mustache back in October, supposedly when he was shooting Uncharted, so looks like he will have it later on. There was this one official still of Holland wearing Nate's classic outfit. I saw that, but I get why it's hard to see the characters. That's just bound to happen with most actors, unless they're unknown or heavily transformed or have truly insane range. Yeah, so even the Holland one, I could totally see him trying to wear the Nate's classic outfit, but it still, to me, is Tom Holland. So we'll see how he is in the movie with motion and in trailer. But yeah, I did see Mark Wahlberg. In fact, I put it up. And yeah, you're right. This does look like Sully. So I was surprised when he didn't have that mustache in that picture, unless that was later on. But, oh, you know what? This guy's right. Omni-Man. This dude's Omni-Man. No, forget Sully. This guy's Omni-Man. Right there, that's Omni-Man. That's Omni-Man. There you go. Live action Invincible. But no, he looks like Sully too in that thing, but it's Wahlberg. So it's kind of like, you're right. That's why all these characters, always get people who you don't really know, so that they have a chance to become that character instead of you're like, oh, that's Samuel L. Jackson. Although Samuel L. Jackson did really good as Nick Fury. Mario L. Bendición. I love to see Zack do the fallen of men in the Garden of Eva. Imagine the vision Zack would have showing the garden and seeing this dragon serpent trick mankind. Would be a great place for Zack. Have a blessed day, Chris. Love your show. Well, thank you. I don't know Fallen Men of Garden of Eva. I have to take a look at that. Hey, Chris. Zack Snyder's Justice League Army of the Dead were successful streaming-wise, but do you think that will translate to box office number success for future Snyder films? I think Warner Bros. May be weighing that risk. Also, I can't believe Man of Steel did not break $1 billion. This is still the best live-action DBZ fighting I've ever seen. Zack is a master of cinematography. I probably don't have the time too much to explain, but streaming-wise does not translate to box office numbers. It's totally separate. They're totally different. They're not really comparable in a way. You can't say like there's 50 million people saw this on streaming, and so that translates to box office. There's so many variables in that, and that wouldn't translate well. So no, Warner Bros. Is definitely not weighing that risk. Warner Brothers are just being very much egocentric about it. Like, it's not about the money. It's not about the money. It's very egocentric right now, and they're just wanting to, not have anything to do with Snyder. Berlanti's described an involvement in the Green Lantern show again underlines our fears for all of us, especially with CW being an issue. But, Superman Lois is really good, though. Kudos to Ray Fisher for calling out the hypocrisy. That woman's one to lecture... on systemic racism. I wonder, does Ray's invoking and describing mean more than we think? Doesn't he seem kind of confident in things changing into new management? I don't know if he is. I don't know if he knows something's going on or reached out to Discovery or whatever, or maybe he's hoping that they know, hoping that when they come in and merge and the CEO of Discovery takes a look at everything, that he'll, let go of some people. Chris, what is your top 3 90s action movie? Oh my God. I don't know. There's so many. And sometimes I may be like, crossing 80s with 90s here and there. So I'm like, I don't really know if I am. Like, when was, Aliens? Is that 80s or 90s? Aliens, the James Cameron? Because I know the original Alien is before, right? 90s. Even the late 90s. Maybe, okay, let's go to the late 90s. Let's go with Nicolas Cage. Let's go with all Nicolas Cage, because I love Nicolas Cage back in the 90s. Let's go with The Rock, Face Off, and Con Air. There you go. There's a trio for you. There's a lot more, really. I can't really rank them because I lived through it. I breathed it. I watched it all, and they are all awesome. But we're gonna go down with the Nicolas Cage for that answer. So there you have it. All right, so that is it for the show. I hope you saw my reaction to the Zack Snyder's Late Show reaction. I also have a Ping Pong Flix Clips channel that I brought up, and I'll link that in the description. That's basically all the topics. It's separated in case you don't have time to go through the show and you'd rather just go through clips. It's not going to be in the same channel because I don't want to overload it, so I put it on a separate channel. That's pretty much it. And check out my genre etc. tomorrow about The Dark Knight Returns, Zack Snyder's Dark Knight Return. All right, well, thank you so much for watching. Like I said, if you absolutely love this daily dose of entertainment news and content, please click the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring that notification bell, keep this hot dog light on, and I'll see you next time.